Well, Dave here. I'm going to go out to Keith's and my campsite about 80 miles from here. There's a project that I want to get done before he and I go back out. It's going to be the first thing that we do when we go out so that I can safely set up a night camp. I'm planning on spending about 30 hours out there. So just an overnighter. Got all my gear set up in the bag here. Food bag, there's a gallon of water in there, and then I got another half gallon here. A couple of tools that we're going to be using. We're in the park, and we're going to go down to the boat ramp. Beautiful forest colors. Laura Renard is very ready to get out. She's been in the van for 55 minutes. Oh my goodness. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Now the gear bag is in the bow of the boat. Paddle's ready. Food bag barrel is ready. Perfect. It's drizzling out. This is the 11% chance of precipitation today. We're going that way. Okay, so this is our project while we're coming out. So you'll notice the bottom of the tree, the bark is off of it. I went back to our videos in 2017, I believe it was, and that bark was in the same condition. And this tree is completely dead. You might be able to tell that it's leaning to my left, and left is our camp. And a little bit further left is where I sleep. So that bad boy is a widowmaker. So I brought some tools, and we're going to see if we can fell this tree in the opposite or 90-degree angle direction from here. Actually opposite, that way it won't hit any other trees. So we'll see what we can do. Either way, it's got to come down, because I do not want to be sleeping another night and have this thing, or a chunk of it, because it's about 80 feet up, and those chunks up above, they're well over 100 pounds a piece. I don't want that landing on me. So she's got to come down. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I've got 360 strokes in, and it's at about the 60% mark, so I'm through the center part. So now I've got the blade on an angle. This is stroke number 40 that I'm about to do. And these two lines, in theory, are going to join up. Probably need to use my axe over there to knock this little wedge out. And then I'll come in from this side, and hopefully everything falls that way. We'll give it our best shot. So 360 and 40, I'm at 400 strokes so far. Not bad. Well, here's our wedge. Well, I've got two cut lines on this side, joining up with that wedge that's out. So now with every stroke, I actually stop and listen to what this tree is doing. So not going to film this part of it. If I'm lucky, it'll give me a couple of seconds before she actually fells, and we can catch that on film. But otherwise, it's going to be safety first from here. Okay, she just made a very loud moan, crack sound. And based on where the saw blade was getting stuck at, she's going to fall right across our camp. We're going to let nature do its thing here for a minute. So the wedge is on the opposite side where she's going to fall, but all of her weight at the top is to the left. I wanted her to go to the right, but there's no way. So another couple little breezes and she'll go. I might stick an axe in where I've got the wedge and smack it with a mallet. Well, somebody fell down. So if I get a big enough fire started underneath her, we can just cut her with a flame, right? Nah, I'll be chopping her up. And actually, she busted right across here. And down on the ground. So these are branches off of her. As she lost, these just literally fell off in the air. That's how precariously balanced she was. Okay, so perspective, give it to you a couple times. This is how dangerous these bad boys are. So that is the one tree that I tie to. That is the other tree in the center of the screen. And this is 6 feet away. So, because I actually did a somewhat controlled cut, she was actually aimed right at my sleep area. So as she broke, she rolled in the air and went slightly away from my set where I set up at. But we have a new pile of firewood. So between, I got to get my house set up and get something to eat. And then I'm going to start processing this log, get it off of our fire pit. That won't take much because the saw will go through this pretty quick. It's not oak. It's about 10 inches. so maybe 500 strokes maximum to cut a log off of here. So I'll have that done before sunset, but in the meantime I need to get this off the fire pit and get my house set up. And I had La Renard set up here, and she's actually tethered. She didn't know what was going on. And the reason I chose this spot is because this very healthy 3-trunked tree was directly between her and the cut log. So she was not in any danger. Yeah, so you got to plan this stuff out as best you can. Lengthwise, she was definitely within reach. But my gear is also safe. I made sure that it was at an angle away from where she was going to fall. Perspective-wise, that's the hill that I came up. That's my gear. La Renard's life jacket, my life jacket, the paddle, and the canoe right down there. Highly successful. I was a little bit nervous when I realized that she was leaning the wrong way, but that was the probability way that she was going to fall. So she did exactly what I thought she would. But I was very, very careful on my last strokes. She did moan before she went, and as soon as she moaned, I ran. So yeah, there's no heroism in cutting down a deadfall. Get out of the way. Now La Renard and I are taking a break. She's eating her dog food. I'm enjoying a Snickers bar and a beer. A&W root beer. Pretty tasty. Pretty nice bench right here too. It's not going to stay though. I got out here about noon. That is a put in. Made it out to here probably about 12:30. I would estimate it's 2 o'clock. About 90 minutes to fell this tree. Well, I cut a wedge out of here in order to be able to finish the cut with the saw. She cracked. I've got it supported with another fire log and rock over here. On the other end, she's on our existing wood pile. So I'm just going to lean over and give her a little shove rock and let her hit the ground. First log done. Successful. Okay, so good news. This one here, I hit with the axe, got it wedged in underneath, pried it, and she popped loose. All I got to do is roll it. Beautiful. All right, I got my fire pit back. I got my wood pile back. I can straighten that out a little bit. Okay, so I've officially reclaimed the entire fire pit. I took an axe to this over here and about 120 swats, busted it, and then rolled the large piece out of the way. So we're going to put this other one over here, raise it up off the ground so she doesn't gain any more moisture. Well, a little more than 3 hours after arrival, it's official. I'm camping. Did it in reverse order because really needed to get that project done first. So those logs are out of the way. The dangerous tree is down. The rest is lying on the ground, safely out of the way. Here's just the initial debris pile that I picked up, and there's just a whole pile of it over there. But my house is set up, same as what I usually do now. Oh, I have a different sleep system. I'll be very happy to show that to you in a little bit. And La Renar's bed is over there. She's got a Mylar sheet. She's got a double layer waterproof, water-resistant material, and then a 3-fold half wool blanket. So she'll be nice and comfortable for the evening. Now that's my titanium cup, and I've got the dehydrate spaghetti in it, as much as could fit in. I dumped a very carefully, not carefully at all, measured amount of water in, and we're just going to go ahead and let that warm. And I'll use a fork from my canteen kit to stir it around. These are just starter sticks. We have plenty of those. No point burning anything bigger than that at this point, because I'm just having a fire big enough to warm a nice meal. And La Renar is a little bored. Not too bad though. Temperature feels like it's about 70 degrees. And I'm enjoying sunshine right here, right now, through the leaves of the trees. Well, the spaghetti is ready. And it looks really good. It's a little bit warm right now, so I'm just going to let it rest. It boiled for about 1.5 minutes, and then I left it near the fire while I collected up. Hi, La Renar. Some more chunks of wood. And I threw 2 of them on the fire so I could enjoy dinner next to a fire. Not too close though, it's kind of warm right now. Dinner is done. The house is set up. Our main project of felling that tree is complete. Camp looks like it's in a pretty good spot. I've had my dinner. La Renar had her dinner. And we're just going to enjoy a very nice evening paddle. Well, as promised, this is my sleeping system. I actually used it a week ago when I came out here with Keith, and it got down, the lowest temperature of the 2 nights was 28 degrees, and this was perfect. So these are down pants, and this is a down jacket. I believe I got the jacket from a company called 0 Degrees, and it was about $40. This is the women's large. The women's, I chose that because it actually covers my hindquarters, which is nice. The men's jacket stops at the waist. And then I found these called Nature Hike, and they were about $65 if I recall. So I actually have 2 sets of these. This is the large. I wear a men's medium, but I wanted the extra room. And then the second set that I have is an XXL, and also a women's jacket and the down pants. And my idea is that if I need to wear them in combination, that will take me down to 0 degrees. That, along with my sleep system that I have all rigged up in my hammock setup, So I just keep a underlay, long underwear, and a thermal shirt on that has a hood, so I can pull that up at night and then put these on. Yeah, the food barrel is hung. A couple years ago we found this great tree. It's worked for us every single time. So that's about 6 feet off the ground, sloping downward, not too far from the lake. And about 30 feet or so, maybe 40 feet from the campfire, sleeping quarters. I threw a couple of larger logs on that cinder bed, and so one thing I'm noticing is, first of all, the logs that I threw on were from the top of that tree that I felled, so they're super dry. There are very few and very small embers coming off of the logs during the firing burn, and there's not a lot of crackling sound either. So it's a very safe fire. I did clear out about 5 feet of leaf litter all the way around. Well, happy morning. The evening was a little bit noisy. Had some neighbors. They're about probably a quarter-mile away, but I think 2 of them left by boat yesterday, and so they were chattering as they went by. A couple others were walking the ridge line behind us, and La-Renard reacted by growling. I don't know if they're hunters or what they're doing, but walking in dark in these woods is not an advised activity, but they were doing it. So it is morning. I don't know what time it is. I wasn't tracking where the moon is supposed to be at what time, but the moon is high right now. La-Renard and I enjoyed a can of Spam. That is to say, I had 2 pieces and she had 4. I had mine on flatbread, she had hers on the ground, mixed with leaves and dirt, and she enjoyed it very, very much. Welcome to daybreak. La-Renard and I just got up from about a 90-minute nap. So we probably went down about 5:30, maybe closer to 6. It's got to be just after 7 in the morning Eastern Standard Time now. And I can estimate the 90 minutes because our logs are burned down pretty good. Yeah, we have 3 trips down to the water's edge. Boat, food bag, boundary bag. We are leaving a trace this time. So we've got 5 easy cut logs right here. The big fat ones are not easy cut. I'm talking about the smaller ones. We did add to our wood pile. These did not have to be processed. They broke on the way down. That's our handiwork. That was our project. And it was blowing last night, so I'm very happy that I did not have to feel concerned about the potential for this thing collapsing on me. Did take a gander at this. This area right here is still hardwood. This area here is all decayed and subject to collapse. And the other side was actually just as bad. So there wasn't much holding this tree up anymore. I did measure out how long it the distance was, and it was 72 feet to where the top of the tree landed. So it was about 78 feet long.